This is the tip of the day around carburetor inlets. I'm trying to use a bigger 1/4 inch hose here. And you can see where what I've done here is I've taken a knife, this green knife here, and I've taken off just a little edge of this hose. There's a reason for that. If you look down here on this inlet, a lot of times these hose clamps, or Jubilee clamps as they call them in Europe, will not go down to the base down here because they can't get around the hose and this. So if I cut a little piece right here, shave off a little piece that goes next to the carburetor, then I can get this around it. So that's the tip of the day. I did take off my fuel filter, which basically that's a car fuel filter, but that's all I had. I recommend using them, but I've got a pretty good filter in the tank. I know it's a good filter. I've had the tank off and I've looked through it. Filters in the tank are basically, they look like a little Bic pin full of little tiny holes, and the holes will let the gas in, but it won't let any other debris or any other crap. And you'll be very surprised if you do happen to take your gas tank off, because most people don't do it. You want to, if you're going to take your gas tank off, another tip, and I've done this, screwed up one time, get a flashlight, get yourself some new gas, like that gas over there, or old gas, really doesn't matter. But put your gas in there after it's empty. Shake it up really good and empty it out onto a white paper towel or something. See how much crap you got in there. Then what you can do is, after you get the tank off, you can take off the petcock, which is down there. It just screws off. And you can, once you take the petcock off, the stem, which sticks up into the gas tank, which has the filter on it, will be right there, and you can look and see if it's damaged or something else. You really don't know, because most people don't mess with their gas tanks. But you don't know how many times it's been filled. You don't know how many times they've used dirty gas or dusty gas, or the tank was filled when it was blowing leak. I mean, who knows? There's no way to tell. You can't stick a flashlight down there and look, because all the stuff's at the bottom of the tank and you never completely empty the tank. So what I'm doing now is I have shortened the fuel line, in which I usually keep it a little bit longer, so that if you take your carburetor off, it kind of hangs down where you can get at the carb if you need to. And what I've done is I've taken this, I put this back to a neutral setting. The jet needle has 5 settings. I put it back on number 3 from the top or 3 from the bottom. It's a neutral setting. And I'm going to see if this had any effect on the front here, because that's just one little thing I overlooked. Another thing I'm going to do is, like you can see, this NGK cable. Now, it's kind of cool, isn't it? I got that at Bike Bandit, and it goes right on to the high performance coil. I'm going to take off the spark plug deal here and recheck this wire just in case. It's always good to do, but I'm going to be kind of pissed off at myself finding this bike is going to run good. Actually, I'll be really happy that I found the problem, because a lot of times if you listen to your bike, it will tell you what's wrong with it. If you're running lean, if you're running rich, if you're running a bad plug, you have to just realize the symptoms. And then what I do is I go through and I change the variator, I'll change the clutch, I'll clean this, clean that, whatever I have to do to make sure that the bike runs okay. And I will flip this switch when everything gets normal. It's easier for me to turn it on sideways like that for now. Alright, I'm going to put it back together and see if it works.